There is a discipline so severe, so unforgiving, that most men will never even whisper its name. It demands no audience. It grants no applause. It strips you bare, until all that remains is truth. The ancient warriors knew this path. They called it the way of inner death. Not the death of the body, but the death of everything you think you are. Your pride, your fear, your need to be seen, all of it, burned away in silence. This is not a story about fighting enemies on a battlefield. This is about the war you wage in the shadows of your own mind. The war no one sees. The war that decides everything. Deep in the mountains of feudal Japan, there lived a young samurai named Takeshi. He was skilled, hungry, respected. But beneath the armor, he was hollow. He fought for glory. He trained for validation. And because of this, he was weak. Until the day he met a master who did not teach with swords. A master who taught with silence. A master who showed him that true discipline is not what you do when others are watching. It's what you do when no one will ever know. This is the story of how Takeshi learned the most ruthless form of self-discipline ever mastered. And by the end, you will understand why the strongest men are not the loudest. They are the most still. Chapter 1. The warrior who could not rest. Takeshi woke before dawn, every day, without exception. While the other samurai slept, he trained. While they ate, he sharpened his blade. While they laughed around the fire, he studied strategy in candlelight. He was 23 years old and already considered one of the finest swordsmen in his clan. Fast, precise, relentless. But there was something his brothers in arms did not see. Late at night, when the dojo fell silent and the mountains exhaled mist into the valley, Takeshi would sit alone in his quarters and feel nothing. Not peace, not satisfaction, just a hollow ache that no victory could fill. He had defeated 12 challengers in formal duels. He had earned the respect of his lord. He wore his clan's crest with pride, and yet something gnawed at him, a voice beneath the surface, a whisper that grew louder in the quiet. Is this all there is? He would shake it off, train harder, fight more, prove more. But the emptiness remained. One evening, his master, Lord Yamada, an aging warrior with scars like poetry, called him into the courtyard. "Takeshi," he said, his voice like wind through stone. "You are the most disciplined man I have ever trained." Takeshi bowed. Pride swelled in his chest. "But," Yamada continued, "you are not strong." The words landed like a blade. Takeshi's jaw tightened. "Master, I train harder than anyone. I have not lost a..." "You train because you are terrified," Yamada interrupted. Silence. The old man stepped closer, his eyes holding a truth Takeshi could not escape. A warrior who cannot rest is not strong. He is running. Takeshi wanted to argue, but the words stuck in his throat. Because deep down, he knew it was true. He could not sit still. He could not breathe without needing more. He could not exist without a battle to fight, a goal to chase, a reason to prove he mattered. Yamada placed a hand on his shoulder. "There is a man in the mountains," he said. "A hermit. Once, he was the deadliest samurai in all of Japan. Now, he teaches a different kind of strength." "What kind?" Takeshi asked. "The kind you cannot see," Yamada said. "The kind that does not need a sword." Takeshi's pride bristled. He didn't need philosophy. He needed technique, strategy, power. But Yamada's next words silenced every objection. "If you do not learn to be still with yourself, Takeshi, you will spend your entire life fighting and never know why." 3 days later, Takeshi stood at the base of Mount Kuro, staring up at a narrow stone path that disappeared into the clouds. At the summit, barely visible through the mist, was a single shrine. No banners, no disciples, just silence. Takeshi adjusted the pack on his back and began to climb. He did not yet know that the mountain would not test his body. It would test everything he believed he was. Chapter 2: The Master of Nothing. The shrine was smaller than Takeshi expected. A simple wooden structure, a single room, a fire pit, and an old man sitting cross-legged in the center, his back perfectly straight, his eyes closed. Master Kenshin. Takeshi had heard the stories. The ghost of the eastern provinces. The man who once fought 30 enemies alone and walked away without a scratch. The warrior who laid down his sword at the height of his power and vanished into the mountains. But the man before him looked ordinary. Gray hair tied back, weathered skin, hands resting gently on his knees. Takeshi cleared his throat. Kenshin did not move. "Master Kenshin," Takeshi said, bowing. "I am Takeshi of the Katsura clan. My lord sent me to—" "Sit," Kenshin said. His voice was quiet, calm, unshakable. Takeshi hesitated. "Master, I've come to learn." "Sit." Takeshi sat, and then nothing. Kenshin did not speak, did not open his eyes, did not move. Minutes passed. Takeshi's mind began to race. Is this a test? Should I say something? What is he waiting for? An hour passed. Takeshi's legs began to ache. His thoughts grew louder. This is a waste of time. I came here to learn techniques, not sit in silence. What kind of master is this? 2 hours. Takeshi's chest tightened. His heart pounded. A strange panic began to rise. He realized, horribly, that he had no idea what to do with himself when there was nothing to do. No enemy to fight, no goal to chase. Just this. Finally, as the sun began to set, Kenshin opened his eyes. "You are angry," he said. Takeshi exhaled sharply. "Master, I came here to learn discipline, to grow stronger, but we've done nothing." "Exactly," Kenshin said. Takeshi frowned. "I don't understand." Kenshin stood, moving with the kind of fluidity that only comes from decades of practice. "You think discipline is what you do," he said, "but true discipline is who you are when you are doing nothing." He gestured toward the mat. "Sit here. Breathe. Do not move. Do not speak. Just be." "For how long?" Takeshi asked. "Until you stop asking." The first night was unbearable. Takeshi sat. His mind screamed. Every insecurity he had ever buried rose to the surface. "You're not good enough. You'll be forgotten. You're wasting your time." His body itched. His breath felt wrong. He wanted to run. But Kenshin's words echoed in his mind. "You cannot defeat what you will not face." So Takeshi sat. And for the first time in his life, he did not run from himself. The second day was worse. The silence became deafening. His thoughts became a battlefield. Every fear, every doubt, every need for validation laid bare, and there was no sword to swing, no enemy to fight, just him, raw, exposed, alone. By the third night, something shifted. The storm in his mind began to quiet, not because the thoughts disappeared, but because Takeshi stopped fighting them. He let them come. He let them pass. He sat, still, in the center of the chaos. And for the first time, he understood. The enemy was never outside. It was always within. Kenshin watched from the doorway, his expression unreadable. "You are beginning to see," he said quietly. Takeshi's hands trembled, but he did not move. The real battle had just begun. Chapter 3: The death of the ego. Weeks turned into a blur. Takeshi stopped counting days. Every morning, Kenshin gave him the same instruction. Write down one thing you are holding on to, then burn it. At first, Takeshi thought it was symbolic, but Kenshin meant it literally. On the first morning, Takeshi wrote, "My need to be the best swordsman." He stared at the parchment. His entire identity was wrapped in those words. Kenshin handed him a candle. "Burn it." Takeshi hesitated. "If you cannot let it go," Kenshin said, "it controls you." Takeshi lit the parchment, watched it curl, blacken, turn to ash, and something inside him cracked. The next day, my fear of being forgotten. The day after, my need for my master's approval. Each one felt like tearing off a piece of his own skin. Kenshin never comforted him, never told him it would be okay. He only said, "A man who cannot let go of who he was will never become who he must be." One morning, Takeshi woke to find Kenshin standing at the edge of a cliff overlooking the valley. "Come," the master said. Takeshi joined him. The wind howled. The drop was dizzying. Kenshin handed him a fresh piece of parchment. "Write your name." Takeshi frowned. "My name?" "Yes." He wrote it. "Takeshi." Kenshin gestured toward the edge. "Let it go." "Master, this is... Your name is not who you are," Kenshin said. "It is a label, a costume, a story you tell yourself." He met Takeshi's eyes. "And until you are willing to release even that, you will never be free." Takeshi's heart pounded. His name, his identity, everything he believed made him him. He looked down at the parchment, then at the void below, and with a deep, trembling breath, he let it fall. The wind carried it away, and Takeshi stood there, nameless, naked, undefended, and for the first time in his life, he felt whole. Kenshin placed a hand on his shoulder. "Now," he said quietly, "you are ready to begin."